So the Aurelius is a fully digital tri-voiced chorus modulation pedal. It brings rotary, vibrato, chorus, even some flange tones to a single stomp box with incredible versatility, and you can save up to 6 presets. Specifically based on the Boss CE1, a famous chorus pedal with a very kind of clear, high fidelity chorus tone available. So let's take a look at the vibrato mode. So with the vibrato mode, the parameters are the width, rate, and balance. So with the width, you are controlling the amplitude of the LFO. It's really like a depth knob, controls the intensity and depth of that LFO and that pitch modulation. Rate is the speed of the LFO, and balance is kind of your wet-dry mix. A lot of these, the parameters remain pretty consistent. It's really just the width parameter that changes with each mode on the pedal. So right now we're looking at the live. When it's lit green, the light in the middle of the pedal, we're looking at the live settings of the pedal, not using the presets. So right now I have it set to kind of just like a nice warm, slow vibrato / chorus. So not a super slow rate available, but slow enough for those kind of lo-fi, chords and stuff. So typically when I use this pedal, I like to increase the intensity or the width setting on the vibrato and bring the balance back a little bit, the mix. So you just get a little more of that pitch modulation, but it doesn't overwhelm the signal. Try that width up even more, see really what the more intense settings will bring. Now you can hear we're getting a lot of that kind of pitch wobble in there. So you can hear as you bring up that width, I feel like the rate gets more pronounced. It almost like you can hear, I know it's not getting quicker, but since it's more pronounced, it sounds a bit faster to me. Whereas when you lay it back, it almost sounds a bit slower, or it's perceived that way to me. Let me know what you guys think, but that's kind of how I feel. I wish the rate did get a little bit slower, especially in this mode where you really want that kind of pad vibrato in the background, where you can dial the mix back or the balance and use it as kind of, just a tone enhancer a little bit, or just to create a little bit of movement, which it's not a super fast rate, but it is all the way down still. So I just wish it had a little bit more, of a range with that rate knob. But let's try bringing that up a little bit. Again, actually not a huge difference to me. Sounds very nice though. So let's try dialing the rate up a little bit, see a little bit of a faster setting. And with that, I'll dial the width and the balance down a little bit just to keep it a little more subtle without getting too Still very usable. I feel like if we were to dial the width or the balance up, let's try the balance a little bit more, get some more of that wet signal into the guitar signal overall. Not bad, very usable. One of those pedals, you find a setting and it kind of dictates how you play, with this faster rate and a little bit more intensity with the wet dry mix. You kind of play kind of more staccato, kind of laying into that the vibrato a little bit. Let's see, bringing that width up, get it even more intense. This is where it gets on the verge of unusable, at least for me. Obviously, if you're recording and need a specific effect for like a part of a song or something, you can get a little crazy with it. And it's great that it's capable of those crazier settings, but probably not something I would use too often. Another slight annoyance or drawback of the vibrato mode specifically is when you bring that balance up past like where it is now, at that kind of 75% point and up, you notice a bit of a delay. There's almost like a slight lag between the dry signal and that vibrato signal. So it can be kind of distracting, especially when playing like leads and stuff. Here, let's try to really emphasize that. I'm going to bring the volume or the balance all the way up, width down a bit to keep it subtle, and the rate all the way down. Almost has like just that, that slow vibrato, but full vibrato wet signal. Honestly, it sounds so good. I love that setting. The full full vibrato tones. It's great, but there is that slight lag. I don't know. I'll try to, maybe you'll hear with the Gretsch a little bit more of that acoustic through this mic, but it's very slight, like milliseconds, but you can feel it. And if you read reviews, on Reverb and things on this pedal, I've seen some people mention it, and it's definitely there. So something to consider. If you are looking for that kind of warm vibrato background or just a slight warm wobble, it might be better maybe to look at an analog vibrato pedal just to get rid of that kind of delay. I'm not sure if it's the digital side of the pedal that causes a delay. I'm assuming so, with like a buffer or something like that, or as it processes the signal. But one of the drawbacks of this pedal, I think, it's slight. It's not enough for me to get rid of the pedal over it, especially since I'm using it primarily as a rotary effect. But something to keep in mind if you plan on using those vibrato settings often or heavily. It does sound great though, just that subtle warble. I do love, another way I love to use this is with an auto wah in front of it. I have the Congra from Walrus Audio. Sounds great behind that. And then the auto wah, you're actually dealing with that kind of squish from the auto wah, so it's actually not as prevalent. Almost like the shallow water, a faux shallow water from Fairfield circuitry. So let's take a look at the chorus mode. So this is where things get a little interesting or unexpected, at least for me, with this pedal. So as you can hear, even with just the dials at noon, you're really getting that kind of almost like a subtle flanging effect more than a chorus. So the chorus mode was a bit odd. It kind of threw me off because I'm not familiar with the CE1 and how that works and what to expect with a tone or with a pedal that's designed to replicate that. So with this, as you bring the width knob up, which controls the rate of the LFO and the sweep of the LFO's modulation, you're really getting more of a flange effect, which isn't something I typically use or really wanted from this pedal. It's nice to have, but it's not something that I expected, so it kind of threw me off and was part of why it took me so long to kind of really bond with this pedal and get along with it. But let's listen to some tones with that. So really nice, even at noon, you know, again, not something that I use very often. I was expecting to enjoy, but it's a very nice kind of warble again. So in the chorus mode, as you turn the width past noon, it introduces some feedback into the signal and kind of accentuates that flange effect. So let's hear that a little bit more. So now you can definitely hear that kind of flanging back and forth. So just a little bit more across all the parameters. It's really nice, actually. Again, so not something I use, but really nice. And again, so the balance is basically your wet-dry mix. Width is that LFO sweep and modulation intensity, and rate is the speed of that LFO. So I feel like if I was going to use this, I would use it at that lower, or when I do use this, because I do use it, I would use it at those lower width settings, more of the chorus sounds from it. It's really just the kind of movement in the background. I think this is more of how I would use this setting. Let's try that balance all the way up and see if I don't think this setting suffers from that kind of input lag or latency, but let's see. Yeah, it doesn't, which is weird because the vibrato mode, if it didn't, it would be incredible. But it's weird that it's the only mode that suffers from it, where the chorus mode doesn't. See how low and how fast this rate will go. Really nice. Again, kind of like a really slow flange chorus kind of mix. Really nice though. Definitely seems slower than the vibrato setting, which is again kind of odd. Again, I don't have much experience or really any experience with the Boss CE1, so for those that already kind of know that pedal and know what this is based on more closely, might be yelling at your screen, yelling at me right now. But yeah, for someone that has no idea, just kind of learning these settings and getting to know the sounds. Let's try that width with that kind of feedback brought in. That's actually really nice. I really like that for that kind of just movement in the background with the balance brought down a little bit. I could see myself really using that a lot. All right, and the reason I ended up purchasing the Aurelius, let's take a look at the rotary mode. So in rotary, the width is kind of the horn woofer balance. Clockwise, you get more of the kind of woofer low end. Further counterclockwise, you get the tweeter or horn high end. Something I noticed with this rotary setting too, especially when comparing it to other digital options, the low end is very nice. Even typically I leave it where I have it now at that kind of 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock setting. You get that nice low end kind of wobble as you would expect from a rotary, but it's really kind of pronounced and great in this pedal. Again, balance is your kind of wet-dry mix. Rate is the speed of the rotary. Throw some drive into it. Really just great. One of those effects I put it on, I never want to take it off. And And something that surprised me, I had never used really a rotary effect before purchasing the Aurelius, and at the lower rate settings, it's really a great kind of warm chorus. Another great feature, as you can see, I have the expression pedal connected to the side of the Aurelius. So using that, you can assign that to any of the parameters. Obviously, I use it mostly as rate with the rotary. Really great, again, to have that control, especially with the rotary, where you can go from chords to lead and get that kind of slow and fast ramp. Another thing that is really great with the Aurelius is you can switch between the preset and the live settings with a press and hold of the foot switch. One thing to look out for is it will also work as a momentary foot switch. So starting with the pedal off, if you press and hold, like say you were looking down, you wanted to switch to the preset or to the live mode from the pedal being off, when you press and hold from the pedal being off, it is momentary. So when you release it, it will turn the pedal off. Just something to keep a note. Obviously, that can be a great use case, a great feature to have. But if you're trying to switch between live and preset with the foot switch, you'll need the foot switch, or you'll need the pedal to be on first. So with the pedal on, you can use this as really like a rate control. I use this mainly with the rotary, switching between a slow and a fast rotary. I really wish, this was another feature that I really wish this pedal had and would make it spectacular. It's already a great pedal, easy buy if you're looking for these sounds. But it would make it fantastic if you could ramp, if switching ramped, which is probably more complicated than I'm thinking, because if you're in different modes between live and preset and things like that, it could cause complications. But if you're in the same mode, I really wish it ramped that rate. As you can see, it's just switching the rate there, or switching between the live and preset settings, and it does, impressively, it does it smoothly. So that is the Aurelius. Thank you very much for stopping by, taking a look with me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Anything that I covered well, or you think I should cover better next time. I could always reach out in the comments, make a YouTube short on any specific settings that you'd like to see. So let me know, and have a good one. So that is the EarthQuaker Aurelius. Great modulation pedal. If you're looking for those clean digital choruses, those really nice shimmery choruses, delay. So that is the EarthQuaker Devices Aurelius. Really an incredible modulation pedal, incredible rotary So that is the EarthQuaker Devices Aurelius. Really an incredible modulation pedal, incredible rotary, vibrato, chorus, flange tones in there. Can cover a ton of ground. Honestly, for most people, is way more than we ever will need to use in a single stomp box. But incredible to have when you're, if you're bored noodling one day, switch to a different mode that you never use and try it out. Look for tones. Let it kind of dictate what you're playing. Really a great kind of creativity creator, and a great pedal. I highly recommend, especially if you're looking for those really nice shimmery chorus tones, those digital clean chorus tones. The Rotary is incredible. Probably, on par with standalone Rotary pedals that are $200, $300, $400 plus. Definitely worth checking out, and let me know what you thought.